Welcome on into another podcast post-game episode of 76ers basketball with play-by-play with JJ, with me, Jason Joseph, on play-by-play with JJ. That is, I don't know why I stumbled on that, but hope you're all doing well. Hopefully you're all having yourselves a great Monday night. If you're new to my channel, I'm just going to lay this out there first. If you enjoy 76ers basketball, and if you enjoy the Phillies, for baseball, if you enjoy the Patriots for football, okay, if you enjoy sports talk, if you enjoy play-by-play casting, that's what we do on here. We do live games and then we do post-game shows. We also are going to be doing one Flyers game per week. That's going to be starting this Saturday. I'm really excited about that. We'll be doing a post-game show after the live game as well. And I'm really looking forward to it. So excited. And yeah, let's get on. Let's get on with the show. Excuse me. Okay, the Sixers they won tonight. They played very well. I thought that the big three was really great. It was actually very. It was comforting to see Tyrese Maxey, James Harden, and Joel Embiid just click on so many cylinders tonight, and they were outstanding. I was very encouraged with their performance, and it just seemed like that everything was clicking on all cylinders. Maxey would be getting these looks. He'd be knocking down threes. He had like a really nice play where he was taking it right, or where he stole the ball and he got an interception. And then he just took it right into the lane and got fouled. And he put up a nice reverse layup on top of that. And those are all good signs to me because Maxey was really struggling off the bench. And now that he's kind of like coming to terms with figuring out his role, that's been like a really good thing for him. And I'm actually very happy that he's doing well because I was ready to pull the plug. And I think now I'm saying to myself, I understand that it was against the Rockets tonight, but Tyrese Maxey, he went 10 for 16 from the field. And I thought he did a really good job tonight. I loved his passing abilities tonight. He had 6 assists. He also had 5 rebounds. It looked like he was the old Tyrese Maxey. And as of lately, he's just been playing very well. And that floater, whenever he takes it into the lane and he has those finishes, he is like one of the best finishers in the NBA. And the jump shot has been great. He shot 50% from the field too, from beyond the arc. And I just have been so proud of him because I know that when Doc Rivers has him coming off the bench, even though he's getting starting minutes, he was struggling for a little bit. And tonight, and even 2 games before that, and the night before, the night after that, I thought that he has been starting to play better, and that's very encouraging to see. Truly is. Okay, Embiid had 23 points tonight, which is not really so bad because he played in 31 minutes, and I know that he probably would have had 30 if he would have played a full game. But he didn't have to even play in the fourth quarter because the team was doing so well. He literally just hit a step back jumper to end the third quarter on a buzzer beater, and that was it. It was from that moment where the game was sealed. Like, there was no way Houston was going to come back into that ball game. And I really thought that Joel played, just a regular Joel Embiid type of a game. He did what he had to do. He was like, I'm gonna just clock in, I'm gonna clock out, and then I'm just gonna do what I have to do while I'm on the court. And he did. And he took care of business and he showed that he was a very dominant center. And well, he didn't have to play in the fourth. He had 23 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. And then there's good old James Harden. I love his style of basketball. I truly do. He is, when he is in attack mode and he can pass, there is nothing like having James Harden as your point guard for the team. It can be such a huge plus. Tonight, he had 28 points. He took over the game in the third quarter after Tyrese Maxey scored 8 straight points to start out the gates. This dude was literally firing on all cylinders, and he was just making shots left and right, and he was still getting his teammates involved. And if he can do what he has been doing throughout these last 6, 7, 8 games, this team can really go far. And I really just thought that he was another difference maker in tonight's game, and they don't win this game without him. So besides all three of those guys, um, we can look at other people individually. Actually, let's do so. Let's talk about Jalen McDaniels because he hasn't really been getting a whole lot of conversation. He had 28 minutes today off the bench. And there were some things that I liked, and there were it was really just good to see like the legs going, him hustling back and forth like on and on both sides of the court. But he was +9 today, so take that for what it is. 8 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists as well. He had one big offensive rebound where I thought that he should have had to put back on that play, but he ended up not making it. But he definitely he had an impact on tonight's game, and it was just really good to just see him out there. I don't know how he's going to be able to fit with James Harden and Joel because they weren't really trying to get him involved as much as I would have liked them to. And these are the types of games like where you have to try to establish that. But you also have to understand that Doc didn't play him the first game, and then the second game that he came here, he got a little bit of run. So he's getting used to his role. So I can't necessarily make a full assessment of Jalen McDaniels, but I do understand that he is just going to continue to get wide open looks, and he's now going to be one of those guys where they're going to expect him to catch and shoot, and they're going to expect him to play really well on the defensive side as a backup for Tobias Harris and PJ Tucker. And I thought that it was a good addition. It's an upgrade from Matisse Thybulle. I just want the 3-point shooting to go up, and I think it will. But I don't know. I thought tonight he did some things that were really well. It's funny because Montrezl Harrell didn't even come into the game until like there were about 3 minutes left. So that means that Paul Reed is absolutely now going to be the backup center. He had three blocks tonight. He had 2 steals. Okay, he was +7. If Montrezl Harrell, I mean, look at it right here. Montrezl Harrell was -7 when he was out there. That should tell you the whole difference as to what this team can do with Paul Reed as the backup center over Montrezl Harrell. It was the smart move, and finally the head coach listened to us, and we were right about it. And I don't like going against Montrezl Harrell because he's a nice player, and I think that he does things well. Okay, he's a good rebounder, and he's good as an energy booster, but he's not a good defensive player. And I keep saying it time and time again. I don't want to keep going down that whole rabbit hole, but Paul Reed as the backup center for tonight. This is why you have to have an athletic dude as your backup center, and Paul Reed is your best option. Um, so that's what I have to say about that. The team as a whole tonight, okay, they didn't necessarily do such a good job in that first quarter. In the second quarter, really it was just about the Rockets got open looks, but they just weren't cashing in. And I thought that even though that they let up 30 points in that third quarter, I actually thought that their defense was really strong. And towards the end of the second quarter too. Okay, I gotta admit that. Tobias Harris had a couple of steals. Tyrese Maxey had a couple of steals in that quarter. Joel had a steal as well. And I just thought that from the second quarter, the end of the second quarter on, the defense actually really stepped up and they did a much better job. I don't want to be nitpicky here, though. I'm trying not to be like super, super nitpicky. But when I do watch every single game that this team plays, I want us to assess what they do as a whole because there are things that we want to talk about that are going to be utilized in the playoffs. Like, how is this going to be applied to a playoff game? The offensive rebounding, I'm not gonna continue to stress up on it, but that does continue to be a problem. While they did do a better job in the fourth quarter of cleaning off the glass, you just can't let your opponent provide that many offensive rebounds. It gives them second chance opportunities and even third chance opportunities, and you're giving the team life. Those little things make a difference in the game. When Tyrese Maxey is tipping the ball out to Tobias Harris and he grabs a long rebound, like those things, they don't show up on the stat sheet, but they do make an impact because that's how maybe Tobias Harris would score. Or because it's a 5-on-4 and somebody's wide open and they knock down a three, that's why it happened. So I try to analyze every single aspect of the game, and the offensive rebounding just continues to be such an issue um, because they give up a lot of offensive rebounds and they don't get as many rebounds as they should. I did continue to see some wide open looks tonight that I kind of would like them to still clean up, but the perimeter defense was pretty good overall, and and that was I mean look at it from this perspective. The Rockets didn't even knock down their first three-pointer until the third quarter. Take it for what it is. They didn't knock down their first three-pointer until the third quarter. And they did have wide open looks, but the Sixers give them credit because DeAnthony Melton and Tyrese Maxey and even Jalen McDaniels, I will say that he did a good job at guarding the perimeter, some of the time. But the Rockets just had a lot of turnovers, especially in that second quarter. And I thought that that was the main reason why the Sixers actually were able, since they capitalized on all those things, they were able to come out on top the way that they did. And it was just nice to see Joel get some rest. How many times do we see that? Not too many. And they were really good in that regard. The whole strategy by Doc Rivers tonight, from what I saw, was in that second half, let Jalen Green get his, and this is how, it went for, like the whole Jordan rules thing. That's literally what was applied. Okay. Jalen is cold in the first half. He goes like 1 for 12 from the field, 1 for 11, 1 for 12 from the field. But let him get his points, right? If he's taking it to the rack, if he's getting fouled, if he's drawing up the fouls and he's knocking down his free throws, okay, let him get his points. But let's limit everybody else. And it worked. Now when Jason Tatum was having that off night, okay, and the other shooters were knocking down shots, it wasn't working. So then you had to dial up a different type of a game plan during the game. Tonight it worked, though. Take that for what it is. Green had 29 points. He was only 6 for 20 from the field. He was 15 for 17 from the line. But other than that, I mean, while Kenyon Martin Jr. actually was efficient tonight and he had 15 points, it was a quiet 15 points for him. Jabari Smith Jr., a quiet 10 points for him. Okay. Marjanovic, Bobby actually had 7 points. And I mean, I know I'm getting off topic here, but that was actually pretty cool to see. How about Bobby with, playing the last 4 minutes, posting up 7 points? That's awesome, man. Got some smiles from the bench, from Tobias Harris. It's cool. Cool stuff, man. Cool stuff. Yeah. I saw Daniel House Jr. getting 4 minutes of playing time coming in during the garbage time of the game. How about Shake Milton? 19 minutes for him. He had 8 points. He had a nice little run where he was being aggressive and he was going into attack mode. That was nice to see. He was 3 for 4 from the field. He had 3 rebounds. He did turn the ball over 3 times, but not all of those turnovers were really his fault. But no, I was actually I'm happy that this team won. I thought that they played very well overall from a basketball perspective. The pick and roll tonight was efficient. It was the pick and roll. When they decide to commit to the pick and roll, it is deadly between James Harden and Joel. And you even saw Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid doing it a little bit. It's amazing what the pick and roll can do when you have James Harden and Joel Embiid. That's how they're going to win games. And Doc should get credit for that. I'm not the biggest Doc Rivers fan. I criticize him when there's things that I don't see. The rotations tonight were really good. And the pick and roll was outstanding. Now, that also goes on the players, but the coach is the one who makes the play calls. So, I mean, can I tip my cap to him? Is that a crime? No. I criticize him, but I also have to give him praise when I see good things. That's the nature of the beast, and that's how sports goes. Okay. Let's get to Tobias Harris. It is just funny to me how I understand that PJ Tucker only played 7 minutes tonight, and that's because Jalen McDaniels came in off the bench. So maybe I shouldn't knock at this like the way that I'm going to. But let's put Jalen McDaniels in this. 3 out of your 5 starters tonight had 14 points. Again, I understand that PJ Tucker only played 7 minutes and Tyrese Maxey was really like their 5th starter, if you will. It's just not good though. Like that is just atrocious. When I see that on the stat line, I want to vomit. I want to throw up when I see that. Again, I know that it's the Rockets, but that type of stuff can't happen. Tonight, the threes were falling for the Sixers. They shot 44% from 3. Okay, Niang had 2 pretty nice 3-pointers that he was able to knock down. Shake Milton's 3 was huge. Joel had a 3 in tonight's game. And Tobias Harris actually made a good 3 too off the catch and shoot. So that was good. I'm curious to see how this team is going to finish things out. You know, they play against Cleveland on Wednesday, and that's going to be a test for me. I've penciled that in as a big game because Houston's team, because Cleveland, the Cavaliers have a good team. Jared Allen's been playing very well. Donovan Mitchell's obviously been playing out of his mind. And Darius Garland is a really good player. Let's not forget about Mobley. They have a really good, young, talented crew. And I think that there's going to be a lot to look for in this game. The rebounding, right? Guarding the perimeter again and making sure that that the zone is not effective for Cleveland and that the Sixers play good man-to-man defense and good zone defense as well. All those things matter. Sixers have had issues with guarding the zone over the past couple of years. You can actually make the case that they've been having issues guarding the zone for almost the last decade. You can make the case for that. So hopefully they just hopefully they do a good job in Wednesday's game, because I would like to see them go into the All-Star break with a 3-game winning streak. I can't knock them, for taking care of business tonight and for beating the opponents that are out in front of them. They won tonight's game. I was actually able to kick my feet back up, figuratively speaking, not literally, obviously. But I thought that they did a really good job, and they took care of business throughout the first 3 quarters. And the fourth quarter, they could just play around with different types of things. So, very happy with tonight's win, and we'll see what happens on Wednesday. And with that, we're gonna see if anybody has any comments over here. Nope. Okay, nobody has any comments. The one thing that I will say too before we get going, um, is the fact that I was really happy with not only was I happy with Maxey's performance tonight, it was really a breath of fresh air, because this dude was trying to find a new role for himself off the bench, and the shots were falling. They were, the the shots were outstanding tonight. He was able to cash in, and I was really impressed with his playmaking ability and the pick and roll that he ran with Joel Embiid. It was deadly. It was so good. It was so much fun to watch. These are the types of things that need to happen if the Sixers want to go far in the playoffs. And they still also have to do a better job at rebounding. I'm going to continue to sound like a broken record when I say that, because when you let up 17, or sorry, how many offensive rebounds did they allow tonight? I'm going to look at it right here. When you allow, that was right. When you allow 15 offensive rebounds to a team that doesn't even have a lot of height, you're going to get beat by Milwaukee. You're going to get beat by Boston. You're going to get beat by all these great teams. It's just what's going to happen. They're going to take advantage of you. And you can't allow that to happen. And these are the types of things that I take away from this game. But I'm happy with the win. Let's go Sixers. And we'll see what happens on Wednesday night. All right. 7 o'clock back at the Wells Fargo Center. Really excited to see what's to come for this team. All right, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, this is Play by Play with JJ, where we cover the 76ers. We do in-game live play-by-play action, right? We do post-game shows as well. We also cover the Phillies, and we'll be doing live games for them and post-game shows for them as well, and then the Patriots too. And we're also going to be doing one Flyers game per week. We start on Saturday night, okay? We've been doing this for 9 weeks, and I really, really, really appreciate all the love and the support you guys have given me here on Play by Play with JJ. You guys are the best. I know I probably say that a lot, but I truly mean it. I truly, truly do, okay? If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe if you enjoy all this content. And thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will catch you all on the next one.